Welcome everyone to YIVO. My name is Alex Weiser. I'm the Director of Public Programs of YIVO, and we're really thrilled to have so many of you. Thank you very much. We're thrilled to have you all here with us tonight, and also an equally large, perhaps even larger audience online watching and listening. And we're really thrilled to be celebrating the legacy of Chana Mlotek, and we're grateful for all of you joining. Chana Mlotek was a musicologist, song collector, and writer, longtime YIVO Music Archivist. She played a key role in crafting the historical memory of Yiddish song in our time, particularly through her popular songbooks, which made hundreds of Yiddish songs accessible to a broad audience of musicians from amateur to professional. Chana's work exemplifies our values at YIVO. She was dedicated to preserving the past, but also to using that past and the music of it in particular to create a really vibrant present and future for Jewish music and for the Jewish people. And speaking of those beautiful books, we're going to hear more about this new website, yiddishsongs.org, but I'd just like to say a big congratulations to Elisha Mlotek and to our friends at the Workers' Circle on this really beautiful new website that makes these songs even more accessible than before. So hundreds of Yiddish songs are just a click away, the lyrics and the sheet music. It's really fantastic. And I want to thank the whole Mlotek family for putting together this evening, and especially Elisha again and Zalmen, who spearheaded. And thank you also to all the special guests that we're going to hear. It's really a who's who tonight of the Yiddish Jewish music world, and we're really thrilled to have everyone. And I also want to thank Carnegie Hall. This event is is in partnership with Carnegie Hall's Women in Music Festival. And I also want to thank the National Yiddish Theater Folksbiene, who is partnering with us on tonight's event. So thank you very much. Before we dive into the musical program, we're going to hear a few remarks from a few people. And first among those, I'd like to invite up the esteemed ethnomusicologist Mark Slobin to the podium. Yeah.
Good evening. I would like to thank YIVO and the Mlotek family for this chance to praise Chana, who was my mentor, collaborator, and friend for some 40 years. As I came to YIVO in the 1970s, whenever I needed to know about a song, Chana would simply open a file in her mental hard drive and come up with its entire history, both in performance and in print. As I researched, I could see the dim outlines of a continent of expressive culture submerged under crashing waves of destruction and oblivion. Chana was the rescue ship, plowing ahead through the storms of history and the waves of neglect. To a considerable extent, she was able to right the vessel of memory and sail it a bit towards a safe harbor. In later years, I was able to attract Chana into two projects: the music section of the YIVO Encyclopedia of Jews in Eastern Europe, and the book Yiddish Folk Songs from the Ruth Rubin Archive. Working with her was both a joy and an ongoing education for me. In my brief remaining time, I want to talk about Chana as a writer and a thinker, how I knew her best. She led two lives, as Chana Mlotek and as Eleanor Gordon Mlotek. The binomial and bilingual life she led as an activist, archivist, academic, and scholar is crucial to understanding her life and her legacy. For above all, Eleanor/Chana was a mediator in many ways, of which I'll touch upon only three. Between the European and the American-born generations of Yiddishists, between a Yiddish-born audience and mainstream American and world culture, and between the academic practices of archiving and those of everyday life. Eleanor used English. Writing for a general academic audience, she wisely chose comparative topics that locate and celebrate Yiddish folklore, which presumed to be lost and was certainly neglected. By showing the distinctive contribution of Yiddish folklore to the larger European Studies project, she staked a claim both for the tradition and for herself as a mediator. In her articles, Eleanor barely touches on the destruction of the culture, only pointing out in conclusion that researchers as well as materials were destroyed. Yet in the same sentence, she pointedly adds, Systematic research can still find ways to do comparative work on the basis of Yiddish folklore. It is in her Yiddish works as Chana that she gives full voice to a deep sadness and mourning for the indescribable losses of researchers and materials. As I reread her writing, I was surprised to see that an ironic voice also runs through much of Chana's work, given how generous, sympathetic, and straightforward it usually is. For example, in writing about Yiddish songs on the theme of America for a general academic audience, not everyone would have included this folk commentary in a Polish song about the crude Americans who came to Poland as do-gooders, bringing money to the poor Polish Jews. And this is her quote from the song. "Long live America for sending us bread. May the committee men all drop dead." Okay? By citing song texts like these, Chana is emphasizing that the feelings of individuals as expressed in song are as revealing as are letters, memoirs, interviews, or even autobiographies. The primacy of the song for Yiddish culture is her most potent perspective. It made her message maximally meaningful to a variety of audiences. This deep understanding of daily community life allowed Chana and her constant collaborator Yosl to invent and fulfill the extraordinary project that is the Perl von der Jiddische Poesie. Instigating reader responses in the main surviving Yiddish language vehicle, the Forverts, the Mloteks ingeniously gathered pearls from the depths of a sunken culture, building their own archive as activists. The social activism she represented energetically faded under the pressures of annihilation, aging, and assimilation, but the archive gave her a home. Chana turned the shelves of hard-won materials into a hub of activity. As the queries flowed into YIVO rather than the Forverts, Chana could guide Barbara Streisand and the conductor Michael Tilson Thomas working on his grandmother, the Tomaszewskis, along with the growing ranks of young scholars and musicians looking for inspiration. Chana's position as an American-born Yiddishist made her feel confident about her mediating role. Firmly grounded in activism, she could both transmit and even create the culture that she represented. The remarkable thing about Eleanor/Chana remains her rare ability to buoyantly move from sphere to sphere of work in the face of monumental human and cultural loss. Her friendship was a gift to me, and her contribution lives on in today's research and resurgence of research, online source building, performance, and new creativity in the Yiddish song, which we're about to hear this evening. Thank you.
To know Chana was to love her, to marvel at her knowledge of the Yiddish folk song. Not for no reason did Issac Bashevis Singer call her and her beloved husband Yosl the Sherlock Holmeses of the Yiddish folk song. They were masters of that old medium, the printed newspaper, Olav Shalom. It was in the pages of the Yiddish Forverts that they appealed to their readers to send songs and answered their requests starting in 1970. They were crowdsourcers avant la lettre. And speaking of letters, missives from the faithful readers of their bi-weekly column, Perl von der Jiddische Poesie, Pearls of Yiddish Poetry, piled up in their Bronx apartment. I was a faithful reader and dutifully clipped their column. The contents of those letters eventually found their way into the 3 songbooks that they published and that now have a new life. Just this last Monday, the Workers' Circle launched a new bilingual website that makes 400 of those songs available, not only their lyrics and music, but also audio and video performances. Chana held the keys to the Yiddish folk song treasure, and she opened that treasure to new generations of singers. She was a link in the golden agate, the golden chain between an older European generation and a new American one. She kept the flame of the Yiddish folk song burning and lit the spark that led to the klezmer revival and a new generation of Yiddish singers. I remember her seated in her small office amid mountains of sheet music, ready to greet me with a big hug. She wrote the notes to the songs of Mariam Nierenberg, my cousin, which were part of YIVO's Yiddish folk song project. Those notes are a model of erudition. No one will ever replicate what Chana knew and what she could find out. I like to think of her as the Yiddish song whisperer. This modest person, so soft-spoken, so warm, so generous, was a mighty force. She was more than a sleuth, more than YIVO's music archivist. Chana was a doyenne of Yiddish folk song and matriarch of a Yiddish musical dynasty. I feel blessed to have known her.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So, standing between me and the next hour of amazing performances of the best, including the Mlotek family honoring my mother, is only about 45 minutes of speeches. But because Zalmen grabbed me on the side and said, cut it down, I'll keep it to three just small topics. The first is thank you to Dr. Mark Slobin, to Dr. Barbara Kirshenblatt-Gimblett, talked about my mother's work much more eloquently and with so much more knowledge that I could possibly add, that I'm going to not talk about her life and career. I think that's already been talked about. You know, at the end, we'll thank these amazing, wonderful, beautiful performers who, some of them we know for as long as they've been performing, some new. Many came to my mother for repertoire. Many would have, but they came later, you know, through Zalmen's legacy. You know, it's not such a bad one. And I want to thank all of you. You all have been amazing friends of the family, of Yiddish culture, and what you do to lift Yiddish culture is a gift that I can't describe, so I thank you. To my family, you know, the effort and the drive that you all put in to both be here, to participate, and then to work together, to, you know, we lovingly call it the family business. The family business is keeping Yiddish culture alive. And what Elisha did with this website is amazing. Dual search engine in multiple languages, transliteration and in Yiddish, typing in Yiddish. I don't think it's been done before. It's not perfect, but what we have created is the beginning of something amazing. So that's my thanks. I'm just going to end with two quotes. One by Theodore Bickel, who wrote about my mother's collections, that is not only those of us who love and cherish the Yiddish language, who must rejoice at every evidence of survival of the tongue, the culture, and the song, but also those who are hankering for Yiddishkeit and who seek ways of expression short of fluency. And what better way could there be than easily accessible, easily readable, and easily singable material such as contained in their books? Elie Wiesel, the Nobel laureate, wrote about my parents that he, of course, had his own personal relationship with Yiddish music in his own life, noting that he grew up hearing these songs and they played an important role in shaping his identity as a Jew. But he said that preserving and celebrating Yiddish music is a way of honoring the memory of those that came before us and ensuring that their legacy is not forgotten. So this was the Mlotek family's and is the Mlotek family's goal. It's our mission, conjunction with the YIVO, where my mother worked for 65 years. Lomir tragen dem Geist, was man hat uns vertraut, schon von tausende Jahren. We're going to continue to carry that torch that they've entrusted in us for thousands of years. Let everyone know that the site is up and running. Let Yiddish music continue to flourish. Thank you all.
Hello. Shalom Aleichem. Yeah, ich heiße Elisha. How's everybody doing tonight? Okay, welcome. This is yiddishsongs.org. The Yosl and Chana Mlotek Yiddish Song Collection at the Workers' Circle. Okay, so here you'll have access to all the songs and research found in the original music anthologies, including sheet music, resources for singers, and performances by artists around the globe. We also include biographies of Yosl and Chana and links to interviews with each of them if you want to learn more about their life and their work. For those of you at home or in the audience who like to sing and you want to sing with us, we invite you to sing along. As we go through the program, we will share with you the title of the song we're about to sing. But let me show you the search engine and how to access the material. So let's say the search engine's pretty cool. So let's say you're searching Bund. A bunch of songs come up, and you have access to the historical research that my Bubby and Zadie published, the Yiddish, the transliteration, the English to learn, and links to music that's performed. I can't play it for you now, but for those of you at home or those who want to take out their phones and play during the concert, you can do that. So here's an example, and then it shows you the original book that it was published in. So let's say you want to access it. So you enter in your name and your email. No. It has to be done. No. I just want to access. Yes. So first you need an email. So create an email, and then you have access to the original sheet music and material from the book. Okay, how do I go back? So another example that we'll just do, so you could, if you don't know where to start and you want some help, here we have categories for all the over 400 songs and plenty of holiday songs to choose from. So here's one that my Bubby wrote or composed in Chodesh Shvat, which we'll sing tonight. And I wish I could play this video of an interview that my Bubby did here with the Yiddish Book Center where she sings the tune. And so, and it's from the book Yontef by Chana and Malki Gali, her sister, my great aunt. So there it is. Enjoy. Have fun. And thank you. Let's sing.
Good yontef. us.
Wir machen ein eigen Lied. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Wägen, na jeder Schmied. In sein Schmied, in sein Schmied, in sein Schmiede, Schmiederei, in sein Schmiede, Schmiederei. We're going to ask you to sing, and the words are Lomir, Lomir, zingen a Yiddish lied. Here we go. Lomir, 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 zingen a Yiddish lied. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Wägen, a jeder Schmied. In sein Schmied, in sein Schmied, in sein Schmied, der Schmiederei, in sein Schmied, der Schmiederei, in sein Schmied, der Schmiederei. From left. This is Avram Mlotek. Raise your hand. Sarah Mlotek, Elisha Mlotek, and Marissa Mlotek. Ashenim Dank. It's really a fagenigen and a great pleasure for me to be here with you tonight with my children and my niece Missy, my nephew Lee Mlotek, to perform for you in tribute to my mother Chana Mlotek. The song you just heard was by Wolf Yunin. My mother was a stickler for giving credit. So the song was heard by Wolf Yunin, the lyrics, and Vladimir Heifetz. And many other songs you'll hear tonight are part of our family's musical and spiritual DNA.
Our Bubby's history with the YIVO dates back to 1944, when she worked as the secretary to Dr. Max Weinreich, and later as the assistant to the YIVO's research director.
65 years of research as an ethnomusicologist, combined with over 4 decades of dedicated journalism at the Yiddish Forverts, our Bubby created anthologies of Yiddish folk and popular music that inspired the klezmer music revival and became a vital resource to the passionate young musicians and artists eager to preserve and further disseminate our rich culture. She spent a lifetime collecting and teaching Yiddish music and song.
Music of learning, love, and celebration, songs of struggle and anthems of defiance, songs that breathe life into Yiddishkeit.
Our Bubby was a Wonder Woman with an encyclopedic memory.
She was a linguist, pianist, a writer, researcher, and archivist.
A life partner with our Zadie, Elisha Mlotek, a sister to Malka Gottlieb, a loving mother, mother-in-law, aunt, grandmother, and great-grandmother too.
A couple of months before Bubby's passing, when she was in the hospital, yet still hard at work, my father, Moish, sent her an email at 9:33 a.m., asking her to list some of the songs she uncovered and helped bring back to life. He got an email reply within 20 minutes reading,
The songs I found and printed were Lied von Titanic, Lebenslang soll Columbus, Sarah Dvosha, Kinder Goldene, von Yaganev, Was the Geist mit the Young, and the list goes on and on. The emails goes on and on. listing the full scope of the research, which in turn helped bring these songs back to life.
A 91-year-old woman who worked and wrote until only a month before her passing, was hat noch a Lied gehat, who had yet another song to sing.
Tonight, we sing from her collections and pay tribute to our wonderful Bubby, the person Nobel laureate Issac Bashevis Singer nicknamed the Sherlock Holmes of Yiddish song.
And it's especially poignant as these songs now live online permanently in yiddishsongs.org, a new website housed by the Abetering, which we've heard about tonight, where our Zadie was the education director for so many decades, and which published their beloved song anthologies. The Yosl and Chana Mlotek Yiddish Song Collection at the Workers' Circle launched just 3 days ago, making hundreds of Yiddish songs freely accessible.
There are many people responsible for this project online, bringing this project online into life. But we want to acknowledge the vision of my parents, Audrey and Moish Mlotek, as well as our cousin Elisha Mlotek, who served as creative director for this project, overseeing its transformation from 5 celebrated songbooks, both anthologies, to a singular online collection technological site.
Elisha will also be responsible for all typos related to the site, which our Bubby would surely have noticed. We hope you will make use of this new platform. Let us know of the typos so we can fix them and share it widely with family and friends. www.yiddishsongs.org.
The next song of welcome comes from the Yiddish summer camp, Camp Boybrook. It was a camp where Yiddish culture lived and thrived, where Yiddish songs could be heard from early morning till late at night.
Camp Boybrook, the vision of Yiddish pedagogue Leibish Lehrer and the Shalom Aleichem Folk Institute, was such a place where our Bubby served as the music teacher and inspired countless children with Yiddish song. There, the principles of Yiddishkeit and peace were infused as part of daily life.
Mit Gesang, wenn die Sonne vergeht, spreizt sich unter Leibgesang über weit und breit. Singt, singt alles zusammen, alle Hahne, klein und greis, bringt, bringt mit Fried und Lieder Licht in unser Haus.
Singt, 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 alle zusammen, alle, klein und groß, bringt mit Freude und Liebe Licht in unser Haus.
Schreit dein warmen Flügel
Spread your warm
in
wings
der Abendwind.
in the evening wind.
Weiß Licht in unser Haus.
White lights in our home
Das Volk versteht.
when the day goes by.
Singt, singt, alle zusammen, alle, klein und groß, bringt mit Freude und Liebe Licht in unser Haus. So Camp Boybrook was a big influence on my life. My mother was the singing teacher there for several years. Later, Josh Waletsky, my friend, who's premiering his new song cycle this Sunday. Seats are sold out for the 1 o'clock. There are still seats for the 6 o'clock. That's my plug. But Camp Boybrook was this place where Yiddish was heard, and instead of Olympics like other camps at the end, we would have something called Felka Yontef, country holiday, where every bunk was assigned another country, and we learned about that country. We sang a song in the country's style, of course in Yiddish. And my father would come up and visit on the weekends, and together they would write the lyrics. My mother would come up with the tune. Here's what they came up with for France. Heute Wein und weiße Reusen, a gut Jontef kommt da rein. Oh la la, bonjour Franzosen, es ist Velker Jontef heim. A good yontef, 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 yontef kommt herein. Ulala, bonjour, Franzosen, es ist welke yontef ein. Au clair de la lune, bei le Wonneschein, sur le pont d'Avignon, singt von Glück auf dem Brick. En passant de la Lorraine, hört sich ein Gesang. Viva la France, le jour est arrivé. Viva, le jour est arrivé. Alle kommen an, alle tuppen mit die Fies. Alle kommen an, von Marseille und von Paris. Alle kommen an, alle tuppen mit die Fies. Alle kommen an, von Marseille und von Paris. Hoff, 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 hoff. Mazel, 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 tough. Hoff, hoff. Mazel, 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 tough. Merci, merci.
At the YIVO, our Bubby's door was always open, and she loved greeting visitors in her office.
There she would meet scholars, singers, actors, celebrities, conductors, researchers, bar mitzvah students.
Anyone who had a passion or interest in Yiddish song. And Bubby was as passionate about each visitor.
We're deeply grateful that tonight some of our friends, singers she knew and loved, agreed to be a part of tonight's program. In addition to collecting music and writing music like she did with Felke Yontef, my mother would occasionally compose original music. She was inspired to write music specifically for some of Avram Mlotek's poems, which she never published. To give life to one of these songs describing the vibrancy of Eastern European Jewish life, Yiddish Agaz, please welcome my friend, my dear friend, wonderful singer, Daniella Rabbani.
Thank you so much. Chana was so generous with me, and she still is in her way, because I reference her books nearly every day. But she was exceptionally generous in that she let me sing her song. This song is written, the lyrics are written by Avram Mlotek, and they start, "You aren't forgotten. Your missing is so full, as full of people as my own eyes are with the image of my mother." And it ends with a bund, a vow, that if you, Yiddish Agaz, Jewish streets, if you offer me your sound, I won't let anyone forget. Bist nicht vergangen, dein Pusskeit ist voll mit dem Volk, wie mein Eug mit der Mammen. Gibt's noch flattert, a Scheme, a Schul. So moiv sei nit kein Schlitte die Flammen. Ich wollt geschworen Erde stein gewohl. Tief ist gewinn, in wird sein deine Stammen. Oh, tis die Bord, oh, ich bin bläulichen Scheiß. Oh, tis das heilige Gremmel mit Quas. Jiddische Gas. Was deudest zurück, hab mir ausgespielt, meinst der Klesmodem, so sich verstellt in a Gast die Musik, bloß von Ormen, dach sich bis Orem. Wenn mens is obergeschunken das Glück, sammelt ein Pracht mit ein offenem Morem. Oh, das ist die Pfanne von Blutregen nass. Oh, das ist die Lehrerin mir in Klass. Jiddische Gas. Oib noch dein Stern, paroiches is wahr. Is euch dein Wort nicht kein Cholem, kein Blinder. Oh, tis der Novi mit steinern Haar, malt die Wege fahr, nackte Kinder. Kennt denn die Wog von a 500 Jahr, winziger jüdische Gas. Lebt nicht der Nigen, wenn tief auf sein Grund strahlt das Gewehen von gefallene Spiele. Stehen nicht zärtlich, wickelt mich rund, mich, dein Verwögelten, mich, dein der viele. Jüdische Gas, Lomir schließen a Bund, lost mich der Herrn, dein Ewigkeit stille. Oh, bist du wieder, a Soins und a Sass, Hecher von Hass und von Zeit der Marschas, jüdische Gas. Jüdische Gas, jüdische Gas.
Bubby taught us that these songs were portholes to living history. Sing a song, hear a speaker, and experience another world. Learn how Jews lived.
Mlotek Dar, the legendary Yiddish folk poet whose songs were popular before the war on both sides of the Atlantic, wrote vivid pictures of what Jewish life looked like in Eastern Europe, and whose work was included in many of our Bubby's volumes.
Imagine two boys, Yosel and Avremel, debate skipping school in this Gebirtig song. Avremel, see how the sun is shining, how beautiful everything is. Let's skip Heder today.
Oy, Yosele, it is beautiful here, and I also don't want to go to school, but it's a sin.
Avremele, gib noch a guck, die Sonne, wie schön sie scheint, die Sonne, wie schön sie scheint, wie Außenfell schon wachsen blit, hab etwas sehr kein Geschick nicht, zu gehen in jeder Heim, die Sonne, wie schön sie scheint. Oh Yosele, ich bin a Jid, ich tracht aus euch hat Sind, ich tracht aus euch hat Sind, wie freilich ist Deutsch, wie schön, es will sich nicht in jeder gehen, nur weißt, das ist a Sind, ich tracht aus euch hat Sind.
Avremele, see how magical the forest is? Birds flying, bees too. Come quickly, or you'll miss it all.
I see it, Yosele. I see the lovely bird too. No, but what will happen tomorrow if we miss school? You know the Rebbe.
Avremele, du säst in Feld, a Bien fliegt schon herum, a Bien fliegt schon herum. Und dort steht auf a Zweigele, a golden Summe Feigele. Avremel, gich komm, a Bien fliegt schon herum. Ich seh, Yosele, ich bin a Jid, nur wart noch 1 Minut, nur wart noch 1 Minut. Das Feigele ist tageschön, nur was wird aber morgen sein? Dem Reben kennst du gut, ich wart noch 1 Minut.
Avremele, Nagere, little fool. Stop worrying about tomorrow. We'll make up some excuse. You just gotta use your smarts. Come, look at the bird now before it runs away.
Yosele, please listen to me. Der Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, is what's in the field masquerading as a bird. Don't go, Yosele, listen.
To which Yosel replies, so Avremele, you're leaving me? Okay, go, I'll stay alone, see what I care. But if you happen to say a single word about me, I'll get you good.
Avremele und Narele, von morgen sorg sich nicht, von morgen sorg sich nicht. Teruzim ist voran genug, man darf nur sein ein bisschen klug. Deswegen leid's flieht, von morgen sorg sich nicht. Oh Yosele, ich warn dich, nicht geh, ich bin a Jid, nicht geh, ich bin a Jid. Das hat Sotten dorten Feld, sich in a Feigele Ziegele verstellt. Das schleppt uns und zieht. Nicht geh, wie ich bin ein Jid.
Remele, du gehst da weg? Nu geh, ich bleib allein. Nu geh, ich bleib allein. Nur sagst du euch ein Wort von mir. Bei meinem Mann schwer ich dir. Zerbrech ich dir ein Bein. Nu geh, ich bleib allein.
So, a special treat. Because the hour is late, we're going to bring the Smetana to the front of the program. I'm going to ask my grandchildren and my great-nephew to come join me on the stage. Ravi Mlotek, that's Avram and Yael's oldest daughter, who's 10. Shabtai Mlotek, who's 3, also from Yael and Avram. And where's Hillel? And Hillel, where's Hillel? I don't see him. Okay. And Jordy, who is Zach and Missy's young man. Okay. And they're going to sing. They surprised me. They surprised me, and they learned the first song that my tati and mommy taught me. Okay. So they surprised me learning this song. So here we go. We're going to go. Go. So eins, zwei, drei. Here we go.
Clap, clap, clap. Mitten Zegele, zeg, zeg, zeg. Mitten Hubele, hub, hub, hub. Boyen Kinderlach, sich ashtub. Patschen Hinterlach, patsch, patsch, patsch. Tobin Fieselach, tub, tub, tub. Patschen Hinterlach, Tobin Fies. Achtet, macht euch, leben Sie.
Lily.
The next song was one of the first our grandmother uncovered, written by Joshua Reisner, a folk singer from Lodz. The song was originally about the sinking of an American ship in 1911. It was only a year later that it became associated with the sinking of the Titanic on April 15th, 1912.
Please welcome music archivist at the YIVO, Grammy-winning, beloved singer of the Klezmatics, and a dear friend, Lorin Sklamberg.
Hat gewiss liebe Menschen gehört, was auf dem Jahr warm hat sich verlaufen. Amerikanerschiff hat sich übergekehrt und viele Menschen sind ertrunken geworden. Euch stellt euch vor, liebe Menschen, die Kantine, wie groß ist gewesen Gottes Sorgen, wenn viele Wasser ist rein in die Maschine und die Lektere ist verloschen geworden. Ay, 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 sennen sich gesessen in Frieden. Sehr früh hat doch keiner nicht gesteht. Sie haben geschrien, lieber Gott, was tust du uns zu schäden? Aber der lieber Gott hat sich zu sehen nicht zugeheert. Und stellt euch vor, liebe Menschen, die Kartine, wie groß ist gewesen Gottes Zorn. Und viele Wasser ist rein in die Maschine, in die Letter ist verloschen geworden. Ai, 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 Dank.
I want to tell you that my daughter flew in from Israel to be here tonight.
Bubby loved sitting around our Shabbos table, listening to us sing Zmiris. Her vast knowledge of Yiddish songs infused every gathering. Gott von Avram is a Yiddish type of Havdalah attributed to the Berditchever Rebbe and recited by the woman of the house. In this Yiddish song by Hey Rosenblatt and Shalom Sekunda, the singer asks Bubby not to say Gott von Avram yet and not end the Shabbos so quickly.
And if you want to look for the lyric on your phones, you can look for yiddishsongs.org. Soll noch sein Shabbos.
Great. Oy Bo ben Yuval sag noch nit Gott von Avram. Was ist das mit dir hinterall? In meiner Zeit ist noch die Sonne nicht vergangen. Oi, Boben, you wart noch a Weile. In meiner Zeit ist noch die Sonne nicht vergangen. Oi, Boben, you wart noch a Weile. Zerstör nicht dem Frieden, dem heiligen Shabbos, die Stille, die heilige Ruhe. Man sieht noch wird scheinen in Himmel kein Stern. Oi, wart noch a Regele zu. Man sieht noch nicht scheinen in Himmel kein Stern. Oi, wart noch a Regele zu. Der Gott von Avram spannt uns zurück ein in schweren tagtäglichen Joch zu tragen dem Golis, dem Cheder, dem Reben, dem All und die Deiges von Woch. Doch bleibt wie versteinert die Bobel da beim Fenster. Sie ist zu mein Betten wie Täub. Oi Gott von Avram, sich a Träer auf der dunkle Stäub. Oi Gott von Avram, und es keikelt auf sich a Träer auf der dunkle Stäub.
In this next song, Arbeiter Freuen, Arbeter-F-R-O-Y-E-N, if you're looking, by David Edelstadt, whose songs were like a regular playlist around our house growing up. He writes a tribute to the working women of his time as he appreciates their unique role in the struggle. Please welcome Yiddish singer and daughter of my dear friend and collaborator, the late Adrian Cooper, dear Yiddish educator and poet, Sarah Gordon.
Dank. Arbeiter Freuen, Working Women, a song that was written in New York and traveled all the way over to the strikes throughout Poland and Russia and the UK. And then in these books that Chana worked on were also then schlepped by Zalmen, by my mother, to the former Soviet Union for festivals, and what an incredible gift to now just be able to send a link.
Arbeiter freuen, Leidende freuen, freuen, wo schmachten in Häusern, Fabrik, wo steht ihr von Weiden, was helft ihr nicht bauen? Dem Tempel von Freiheit, von menschlichem Glück. Helft uns zu tragen dem Banner, dem Reuten, vorwärts durch Sturm, durch finstere Nacht. Helft uns Wahrheit und Licht zu verspreiten, zwischen umwissende, erlernte Knecht. Gedenkt ihr die Namen, die heiligen Namen, Perovskaya, Helfmann, Ginsburg und noch Tausende Freuen, was Flaggen sich schämen, zu tragen gehorsam dem Sklavenjoch. Nicht einmal haben schon Nobel Freuen gemacht, zittern, Henker und Thron. Sie haben gezeigt, dass wir können sie vertreuen. In bittersten Sturm die Heilige von. Ja, nein, 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 nein. Der Monster in eine russische Schwester, der mordet vor Freiheit von zartem Vampir, vermartert bis heut in die steinerne Nester, vergraben in Schnee in dem Wüstensibir. Helft uns die Welt von ihr Schmutz zu erheben, alles Opfer in was uns ist lieb, kämpfen zusammen wie mächtige Leben. Für Freiheit, für Gleichheit war unser Prinzip. Ja, la, la.
at late night parties in the Amalgamated, when Bubby would hold court at the piano with all of our grandfather's Vasheva friends gathered around, Zaidi would sing this song and play the mandolin.
From a poem by the Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore, published first in Yiddish by Edelson in 1932. Why did the flame go out? I protected it from wind and from storm. I so wanted it to burn. That's why the flame went out. Why did the flower fade? I held it close to my chest. I so wanted it to bloom. That's why the flower faded. Why did the string burst? I stretched it tauter. I wanted the music to soar higher and higher. That's why the string burst.
Was ist das Lichtele verloschen? Was ist das Lichtele verloschen? Ich hab es gehitten von Wind und von Sturm, gewollt es soll brennen. Der Pfad ist das Lichtele verloschen. Der Pfad ist das Lichtele verloschen. Was ist das Blimele verwjanet? Was ist das Blimele verwjanet? Ich hab es gehitten, zum Herzen geteuert, gewollt es soll blieben. Der Pfad ist das Blimele verwjanet. Der Pfad ist das Blimele verwjanet. Was ist die Strune zerrissen? Was ist die Strune zerrissen? Ich hab sie gezeugen als Hecher und Starke, gewollt sie soll spielen. Der Pfad ist die Strune zerrissen. Der Pfad ist die Strune zerrissen. Der Pfad ist die Strune zerrissen. Der Pfad ist die Strune zerrissen.
Our next artist is one of the stars of our National Yiddish Theater's program Soul to Soul, which celebrates the musical traditions of African American traditions and Jewish communities. Here to sing one of Morris Rosenfeld's most beloved worker songs, please welcome Broadway opera singer and my dear friend Elmore James.
I'd like to start off by saying that if it weren't for Paul Robeson's music, I wouldn't be here and I would never have met Zalmen and have had a 23-year relationship with the theater. And during that time, I was really humbled by his mother's kindness and generosity. So I thank you. Now I hope I can sing. mich wohl, die Myrten grünen, gefinst mich dort nicht, mein Schatz. Wo Lebenswelken bei Maschinen, dort ist mein Ruheplatz, dort ist mein Ruheplatz. Nicht such mich wohl, die Vögel singen, gefinst mich dort nicht, mein Schatz. A Sklav bin ich, wo Ketten klingen, dort ist mein Ruheplatz, dort ist mein Ruheplatz. Nicht such mich wohl, Fontanen spritzen, gefinst mich dort nicht, mein Schatz. Wo Tränen rinnen, Zähne kritzen, dort ist mein Ruheplatz, dort ist mein liebst du mich mit wahrer Liebe, doch komm zu mir, mein guter Schatz, und heiter rauf mein Herz das Triebe und mach mir süß mein Ruheplatz und mach mir süß mein
Please welcome star of Broadway, off-Broadway, Yiddish stages, my student from the Arbeiterin camp, from Camp Hemshech, the director and co-writer of New York National Yiddish Theater Folkspielers, Kids in Yiddish, coming up in this fall, Joanne Borts.
Okay, am I going to be the first person to say it, that your bubby is shepping so much nachas? Your mom is, I can't even begin. I can't stop crying. Yeah. So sometimes a song of resistance is just a vision of the future. Oh, die Welt wird werden jünger und das Leben leichter, geringer. Jeder Klogger wird a Singer, werden Brüder bald. Jeder Klogger wird a Singer, werden Brüder bald. Oh, die Welt wird werden schöner, Liebe größer, Sinne kleiner, zwischen Freuen, zwischen Männer, zwischen Land und Land. Oh, die Welt wird werden freier, freier, schöner, jünger, neuer, und in ihr die Wahrheit teier, teier wie ein Freund. Und in ihr die Wahrheit teier, teier wie ein Freund. Oh, die Welt wird werden dreister und es wird nicht sein am Meister, nicht die Kräun und nicht der Teister, nicht dem Zellner Schwert, nicht die Kräun und nicht der Teister, nicht dem Zellner Schwert. Also Mlotek in die Reihen zu befreien und beneien unsere alte Welt. Zu befreien und beneien unsere alte Thank you.
Our Bubby, in addition to being an expert in Yiddish folklore and music, was a scholar in comparative literature. She worked closely with Max Weinreich, who believed in her and invested in her early in her tenure by providing a recommendation for her to receive one of the 12 scholarships to attend the first ever class in Yiddish folklore at UCLA.
There, she met a young man with blonde hair and blue eyes who captured her heart with his mandolin in hand, playing a Russian lullaby. Our Zaidi Yosl Mlotek was a Holocaust survivor and refugee who spent the war years in Shanghai. After meeting Chana, or Bubby, whom his friends called der Wascheve Mädel von der Bronx, he felt home again.
Zaidi went on to become the address for Yiddish in America, a go-to resource for Yiddish speakers looking for work and support. As the education director of the Abba Tereg, Zaidi set up a network of over 200 schools, published numerous books to teach Yiddish, records, magazines, produced plays. He was responsible for keeping Yiddish alive as a living, vibrant language, determined to not let it perish along with his ancestors in the Holocaust.
Meine Chaverim was a poem Zaidi wrote as a teenager, just 18 years old in Warsaw, and it was set to music by Yud Glatstein and sung in local choirs there. He writes, "My comrades, just working lads, with hardened hands full of blisters, spend their entire days in the darkness of workshops where day and night are indistinguishable. My friends, boys barely turned 18, weaving dreams of happiness. Now those dreams are smashed into the dust of those factories. That's why people are leaving those factories. They're joining clubs, meeting there all kinds of people, working people suffering from poverty and pain. Together they join their harsh fate with brothers from near and far, sowing a hatred for those who strike down their youth so prematurely. Together they swear an oath of life and death, looking towards tomorrow where the sun shines bright red. Meine Chaverim, bloß Arbeiteriaten, mit Händ von Mazoles und hart. Finsteren obsere Tagen war Staaten, wo Tag wird verbitten auf Nacht. Meine Chaverim, koim Inglach von 18, geweb sich Alloimes von Glück. Jetzt werden die Träumen von meiner Chaverim zermalten auf Stäub von Fabrik. Der Fahr gehen Chevre weg von Fabriken, gleich in dem Club in Verein und treffen sich dort mit Menschen von Arbeit, mit Brüder von Neut und von Pein und binden zu Neuf sehr geuer dem Schweren mit Brüder von Nont und von Wahrheit und sehen a Hass gegen die, was verschmachten, a Jugend, a Safa der Zeit. Far haben Chevre a Schwur geschworen, a Schwur auf Leben und Teut. Der Far haben Chevre die Blicken geworden zum Morgen, was scheint auf Hellreut.
Bubby, along with her sister, Malka Gottlieb, paid tribute to the world that our Zaidi knew and loved in their collection of Mir Zayn and Da. We Are Here, dozens of Yiddish wartime songs written and often performed in ghettos and concentration camps.
Elie Wiesel, in his introduction to our Bubby's Mir Zayn and Da volume, wrote the following of the many songs and poems collected. Listen, and you will feel the tragedy that was ours more than turning the pages of books filled with dry statistics or listening to sentimental speeches. This collection is therefore a most important contribution to everything that has a connection with Jewish consciousness. It should be found in every Jewish home, not because it is an obligation to cry, because it is a duty to sing.
Shmerke Kaczynski, the partisan and poet who traveled far and wide to various displaced persons camps, hotels, and simply anywhere he could find survivors, is responsible for collecting most of the Yiddish wartime music we have. Frühling, Springtime, describes the painful heartache of a love lost. It was written by Kaczynski and composer Avram Brudno in the Vilna ghetto following the death of Kaczynski's wife in 1943.
Please welcome my dear friend, Yiddish singer, Tony Award-nominated director, recent author of The Letters Project, The Daughter's Journey, Eleanor Reissa.
You know, ich gedenk Chana, Ede ze zenen alle du gewein. Do you remember? There was I go back with Zalmen and Chana for more than 40 years when I was 2. And before all this nachas, and it is a testament. She didn't know the future. She didn't know, but she did her work, and she believed in Yiddish and in culture, and she came up with this, and there's a line in this song, Ich seh ihm vor de Augen. I see him, but it's in relation to your mother, Zalmen. Ich sehe sie vor de Augen. I can see her in front of me. And when she came up with a song for you, there was nothing more exciting like a bonbon, a chocolate. Look, see, try this one. This is for you. This is for you. So this is for her. Ich plunge in Ghetto von Gessel zu Gessel. Ich kann nicht gewinnen kein Ort. Nicht du, mein Geliebte, wie druckt meine Rippe. Menschen, euch sucht Chotscha Wort. Es leicht auf mein Heim jetzt der Himmel der Bläue. Wo hab ich jetzt der Finn? Ich steh wie ein Bettler beim jedweden Teue. In Betel bis alles sehen. Frühling, nimmt sie mein Treue und bring mein Liebsten, mein Dreier zurück. gib es up mein Glück. Ich geh zu der Arbeit, vorbei unser Stiefel in Treue, der Treue vermacht. Die Sonne verquellte, der Blumen verquellte, sie wianen, verseh es euch Nacht. Von Nacht auf zurückwegs, es neue die Treue. Und du hast die Liebste gewahrt. Und du, in dem Schatten, wie kennt ich dein Trott ist, pflegst kuschen mich, lieblich und zart. Frühling, nimmt sie mein Treue und bring mein Liebsten, mein Treue zurück. Frühling, auf deine Flügelbläue, oh, nimm mein Herz mit und gib es up mein Glück. Frühling, auf deine Flügelbläue, oh, nimm mein Herz mit und gib es up mein Glück. Es ist hei der Frühling, go früh und gekommen, zu blüht sich mit Bänkschaft nach dir. Ich seh dich wie jetzt Balladen mit Blumen a Freudige, gehst du zu mir. Die Sonne hat vergossen dem Guten mit Strahlen, zerspult hat die Welt sich in Grün. Mein Treue, mein Liebste, wie bist du verfallen? Die gehst nicht da raus von mein Sinn. Frühling, nimmt sie mein Treue und bring mein Liebsten, mein Treue zurück. Oh, Frühling, auf deine Flügelbläue, oh, nimm mein Herz mit und gib es up mein Glück. Frühling, auf deine Flügelbläue, oh, nimm mein Herz mit und gib es up mein Glück.
My parents were invited to the International Jewish Book Fair in Moscow in the 70s. My brother remembers hearing how my parents would turn away from tables where books were being sold to allow for people to experience the Yiddishkeit they had missed so long by sneaking a book under their coats. They continued to be instrumental in supporting the Jews of the Soviet Union. In fact, when the records of Emil Gorovitz came to our home, they fell so in love with his neshama and recordings that my father was instrumental in inviting him to America and hosting his first ever concert in the United States at the 92nd Street Y. The Y was packed with Russians, and you can hear the roaring applause of the audience on the record as they cried, listening to his singing, which they had so missed and which had been forgotten. My mother didn't have the schus to see the success of Fiddler auf dem Dach. It was in her and my father's living room in the Bronx where the idea first of mounting the production first came to me by hearing the Yiddish recording. And it goes without saying that she would have loved our next singer. Please welcome the star of Fiddler auf dem Dach, winner of the 2019 Lucille Lortel Award for Best Actor in a Musical, my dear friend Stephen Skybell.
Thank you. Well, I think I I am the most unfortunate one of the performers tonight because I never met Chana or Yosl Mlotek. But in February of 2020, Zalmen gave me the 3 books. And more than once since then, I have called them my prized possession. And I have definitely felt Zalmen's mother guiding me through these books. And I now have about 100 songs learned from those books. It's just, I'm trying to make up for lost time. And it's a real pleasure to be here this evening. The song that I found early on in the books is called Ich bin a Yid. It's a poem by Issac Bashevis, who unfortunately was murdered at the hands of Stalin's regime on August 12, 1952. We lost many Yiddish poets, writers, cultural leaders on that day. The music is by Emil Gorovitz, and the poem is, "The generation's old wine has strengthened me in my wanderings. The angry sword of pain and sorrow has not destroyed my inheritance. My people, my faith, and my blossoming, it has kept my freedom unchained. From under the sword I have screamed, I am a Jew. The clever musings of Rabbi Akiva, the wisdom of Isaiah's words have nourished my thirst, my love, and fought against hate. The daring of the Maccabees, Bar Kochba's blood is boiling in mine. From all the burnings at the stake, I have declared, I am a Jew. And just to spite my enemies who already are preparing my graves, I will, under the banner of freedom, enjoy endless pride. I will plant my vineyards. I will be the architect of my fate. I will one day dance on my enemies' graves. I am a Jew." Der Wein von deures dicken Teuer hat mir gestärkt in Wanderweg. Die böse Schwert von Pein und Treue hat nicht vernichtet mein Vermögen, mein Volk, mein Glauben und mein Blieben. Sie hat meine Freiheit nicht geschmied. Von unter Schwert hab ich geschrien. Ich bin ein Jid, ich bin ein Jid. Der kluger Knecht von Rabbi Akiva, der Chochme von Jeschaias Wort, haben genährt mein Durst, mein Liebe, und sie mit Hass zu aufgeport. Der Schwung von Makkabäer Helden, Bar Kochbas Blut in meinem Sied. Von alle Scheiters fleg ich melden, ich bin ein Jid, ich bin ein Jid. Und aufzupicken ist die Sonne, was gräden quorem Schein von mir, weil ich unter die freie Fahne noch oben naches und ein Schier. Ich will meine Weingärtner verpflanzen und von mein Geurl sein der Schmied. Ich will noch auf die Sonnens Käfer tanzen. Ich bin ein Jid, 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 ich bin ein Jid.
Bubby and Zadie's interactive column in the forward, Pearl von der Jiddische Poesie, Pearls of Yiddish Poetry, in which every edition they invited readers to send in snippets of poems and songs that they remembered, and Bubby would publish the entire song with background, biographical information. It was an unprecedented experiment in crowdsourcing and collaboration, and was, as Sam Norwich put it, Facebook before Facebook.
One day, a reader sent in a story telling of the time he was in a concentration camp inmate, and a young boy sang Mein Yiddische Mame. The German guard was so moved by the story that he gave the Jews an extra serving of soup that day. Bubby and Zadie published the story together with the etymology of the song. The next week, a different reader sent in a letter writing that he was the young boy that sang that song that day. The two readers were reunited through that column.
As Pesach, a holiday of redemption, approaches, we share a poem written by Kadia Milodowski with music by our great aunt Malki Gottlieb, Bubby's sister. Echad mi yodea, Gott is ein liberal. Who knows one? God is one above all.
Echad mi yodea, echad ani yodea, Gott is einzig überall. Gott is einzig überall, echad mi yodea. Jung seien die Vögel in dem alten Land. Gott hat dort a Baum gepflanzt mit seiner rechter Hand. Grint a Baum inmitten Midbar, grint, das is a Nest. Und a Vogel singt dort Schere, dreimal am Echad mi yodea, echad ani yodea, Gott is einzig überall. Gott is einzig überall, echad mi yodea.
This collection's arrival. Wow, that was amazing. This collection's arrival comes at a timely moment, at the opening of the new Broadway musical Parade, which tells the story of Leo Frank, where a group of neo-Nazis heckled outside the theater. We were reminded of the song our Bubby found and published called Lied von Leo Frank. We opened up our copies of Bubby and Zadie's anthology, Songs of Generations, and were immediately reminded of Bubby's scholarship and how deep research and historical context was intertwined with each melody.
We miss our Bubby tremendously for her encyclopedic memory, her complicated word games, her fountain of knowledge notwithstanding, her joy and exuberance at picking up the phone whenever any one of us called, left a mark on each of her einiklach. And as much as we loved her, we know she loved us more.
The next song is Lekavod Chana's Or Einiklach. Most of them you met before, and I'm going to bring back my granddaughter Ravi Mlotek to come sing a song.
Mashiach ben David sitzt oben an, halt a Becher in der rechten Hand und macht a
Moshiach wird kommen, heintigs Jahr. Oh, Amen, Amen, das ist Wort. Moshiach wird kommen, heintigs Jahr. Wird kommen zu Worden, will sein guter Jahren. Wird kommen zu rein, will sein guter Zeiten. Wird kommen zu gehen, werden die Jiden in Eretz Yisrael einstehen. Schmiedele, Perele, Gildene von Moshiach bin Oben, Skybell Moshiach wird kommen, heintigs Jahr.
We conclude our program with two songs. First, the song that my mother wrote for the Abiteling Shul. Elisha mentioned it in the website, in dem Sheinem Land von Chumash.
In dem schönen Land von Chumash blühen jetzt der Bäum und Blatt. Richtig ist die Sonne und warm, jetzt im kalten Chodesh-Schwan. Richtig ist die Sonne und warm, blühen jetzt der Bäum und Blatt. In dem schönen Land von Chumash ist der yontef zu Bishwan. Richtig ist die Sonne und warm, blühen jetzt der Bäum und Blatt. In dem schönen Land von Chumash ist der yontef zu Bishwan. Ist der yontef zu Bishwan, zu Bishwan. Wir begrüßen euch und klar, schöne Teure, a gut Jahr. Wir begrüßen euch und klar, schöne Teure, a gut Jahr. Wir begrüßen und wir wünschen alle Kinder euch und klar, schöne Teure, Tikka Sevu, a gut Jahr, schöne Teure, Tikka Sevu, a gut Jahr, Tates Mamas dem ganzen Tag, schöne Teure, a gut Jahr. Tates Mamas dem ganzen Tag, schöne Teure, a gut Jahr. Tates Mama, Schwester, Brüder, kaufen Freunde dem ganzen Tag, schöne Teure, Kol Israel, a gut Jahr, schöne Teure, Kol Israel, a gut Jahr, a gut Jahr, a gut Jahr, a gut Jahr,
I'd like to take a moment to thank the artists who sang with us this evening, and please welcome them back to the stage. Lorin Sklamberg, Sarah Gordon, Daniella Rabbani, Joanne Borts, Elmore James, Eleanor Reissa, Stephen Skybell.
All the songs you heard this evening can be found on the new website. We encourage you to visit yiddishsongs.org on all your platforms, tablets, devices. Hartstigen Dank.
We want to thank the YIVO and especially Alex Weiser for inviting us to do this beautiful program for you today. Join us.
I can't hear you.
Mark Slobin, Barbara Kirshenblatt-Gimblett, and again, Alex Weiser, and all my family and all my friends. Thank you.
And Zalmen Mlotek.